أعزائي المشاهدين، أهلا وسهلا بكم من جديد مع برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي. كما عودناكم في كل أسبوع نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات، قصة نجاح أتتنا إلى الدولة منذ تسعينيات القرن الماضي. Vic, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
We are so lucky to be here with you in your company. Our team said to you, welcome in our program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you. Nice of you to come in and see us, and I'm looking forward to a very enlightening chat.
And we would like to know about yourself. Who's Vic when he came to this country at the first time and what he's doing at this moment?
Okay, wow, that's a long way back. You know, I'm not sure I can remember, but yes, I first came to the Emirates in 1983. I was on a secondment from the company I was working for at that stage, being based in the UK. I should actually go back and tell you about myself. I'm Australian. I was born in Australia and am from a place called Brisbane in Queensland, very big state, and the weather is very similar to what we have here in the Emirates and the Middle East per se. So I'm very comfortable here. Primarily, I've studied electrical engineering. I did an undergraduate degree with RMIT in Melbourne, and then a postgraduate lighting course also with RMIT in Melbourne. So I'm a qualified electrical engineer and also a qualified lighting engineer. So I think that's a good thing in terms of the business that I've been in. I've been in mainly in the lighting business for the last 40 odd years. And whilst training, I worked for General Motors, which everybody would know is a manufacturer of motor cars. And that was primarily for testing rigs and many things associated with assembly also. So does that give you enough idea, or?
I think it's fair enough.
Okay.
Actually, we would like to ask you, is the Gulf War drop you here or you come by chance?
No, I was here before the Gulf War. I was here for 4 years and then I was transferred back to the UK. Then I happened to come back here when the first Gulf War first started. I think that was in January 91,
yes.
Something like that. And I was invited back here to start a business with a gentleman who was associated with the Deputy Minister of Labour here in Dubai. So we started a business at that stage. And that was kind of my first introduction to starting a business also, so it was quite a challenge. So he convinced me that, you know, we should, after having some experience here, the gentleman convinced me, Mr. Abdulli, convinced me that we should be, you know, doing business here and moving something forward. So it was quite an exciting period.
You was planning to sit here more than 30 years?
Yes, it's quite a long time, more if you take in the 80s as well. So, you know, it's a long time.
So it's a good opportunity for an engineer who graduate for lighting, we can say, in the area that's nobody understanding still, or they don't have this booming to understand what's happening or what's the technology with it. Do you find it's difficult to let people understand?
Well, it was, because there's been a massive change in technology in that through from the end of the 20th century to the 21st century. where we went from incumbent technologies like fluorescent, tungsten, halogen, metal halide, high pressure sodium, and then there's this massive swing towards LED with all the advantages of energy saving, longer life, less energy cost, less maintenance cost, that sort of thing. But there was a lot of technicalities that needed to be learned. So we spent a lot of time educating in that period, yes. And it was a very interesting period though. And people now, you ask people, you talk about lighting, and they automatically say, oh yes, LED, we must have. And that's the way we are. And that's the way we're moving forward.
So when we talk about someone who wants to build his career in this country, so he needs to choose his team. We're talking about 17 people now working with you. So how you start, build the trust with them and the relation with this team?
Well, one is actually meeting people here, and really a lot of it is gut feeling, frankly. You know, when you meet somebody, you try and make an assessment of the person. You know, you talk to them, you try and get an insight into their mind, their heart, their soul, and you choose people. I've been very lucky, generally. You know, this is into our 21st year of business with this company, and most of the people who have been here, been with me for many, many, many years. A lot of them nearly from the start. So we don't have a great staff turnover. But really it's a matter of meeting, looking, listening, and being grateful for the work they do. And most of the people that I've had the pleasure of working with have been very, very good. Very, very good. So they do all the work. I just sit back and relax, you know.
When we talk about the business during 2000 until 2008, it was booming time, people understanding, people, they want to invest, but after that the crisis came and changed the world with the construction way. They affected too much. So what's the situation of your company that time?
Well, it's very strange, yeah. Lighting is actually something that's used at the very end of a project. You know, they build to the stage where, we need the lighting now, you know, so they leave it last, and that has problems with delivery and things like that. So when the global meltdown happened in 2008, we actually were not affected straight away. The construction industry took a little time to go through the range of projects that were on, and then it dropped off a cliff, the same as the global economy. But it didn't seem as dramatic then, because people still need light, you know. And also one of the areas we operate in is sports lighting. So sports lighting still, you know, was not affected to the same extent. Football, basketball, tennis, you name it. So actually we had one of our best years ever in 2012. So after that, it started to drop a little bit before picking up again.
So that time when we talk, it was a little bit expensive for the people to change their home, for example, or to build it. So everyone start calculate the cost. When you explain it to them that the AC or the heating, it will be less, even the money, even the bill of electricity, but people, they will not understand it or they accept it because it really costly was that time. Who was your customer there?
Well, you know, it's interesting because that was one of the hard sell parts of it, because if you go back to that time, at the launch of LED, the fixture differential between an incandescent and a LED or a metal halide or a high pressure sodium was 5 times the cost, 5 times. So, you know, people are very careful with their money. And when you start talking those numbers, you need to look at an ROI, return on investment. So it was very, very tough. So we spent 2 years probably educating, you know. People used to say to me, what do we need to do to advance LED? And I said, educate. And then what's the next thing? Educate more, you know.
2015, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, he mentioned that we should go green and we should reduce what we are spending. And it was mainly we're talking about the solars and lighting, because they are brothers together working in the market. So solars and light hit our doors, we can say, in the market. Everyone start talk about it in 2016. So here we need to talk about the brand and the chipset, and we need to talk about the warranty that we should give it to our customers.
It's a very complex subject because there's a variation of quality you know, and you need to be very careful about what the selection criteria is. So, you know, warranty is one issue. Cost obviously comes into play, and you need to look at what your return on investment will be. So, how much you need to spend and how long before you get it back. Generally in business, I don't think that's changed too much. If you can get a return on your investment within 5 years, make it pay for itself in 5 years, then you're doing very well. You know, I think that's a base criteria. So that's one of the bottom aspects of it. There is many parts, warranty as well. I mean, this is a thing that will separate the price differences in terms of the quality, where you get Asia product. Not all Asia products. There are some very good product from Asia, but you know, you get that quality that they only guarantee for 1 year or 3 years. 5 years is a general trend. Right. We have product, for example, that is warranted for 10 years. Yes. So you can see that's a very long stretch. And you know, I'm sure you would have peace of mind if we said to you, you know, we're going to give you a 10-year warranty on everything. You'll be very happy, I think.
Sure. Actually, when we talk about the project that we have, it's as we calculate the light lumen. We can see it in our project. So we need even to know everything about even the painting color. This one we need to also keep it up to date to our employees. So how you let them understand?
Yes, that's a very important criteria. What we do with clients that come to us, we provide them with a design. So we give them a full design brief or a proposal where we show the luminance levels, we show the luminance level, which is brightness or glare. We show the levels at floor level, at table level, at wall level, many different aspects, and that is a very important criteria. So there is global standards now that are applicable. There is a company that we work, not a company, an authority called the North American Illuminating Engineering Society. They have recommended lighting levels for different applications, for residential, for commercial, for roadway sports. There's also the CIE, that's an international body as well. They have recommendations. So we bring these all together, and if you come to me or to our company and say, I want to light my house or my office, we will sit with you and ask you for drawings. If you don't have drawings, we will go and measure your place and make the drawings. But then we have an application engineering department here, and then we provide a complete design brief and then sit down with the client and show him. We show graphically and numerically what it will look like. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So the more you can show with a picture, the much better it is. You know, so that's a very important part of what we do, and with that we work very closely with a lot of engineering consultants. So we do a lot of lighting work for the engineering consultants who are not specialists. They're overall people, right, doing electrical, mechanical.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly, all that. So they can't be specialists, and that's what they do. They come to us and we work with them and give them the same brief also.
When the LED hit our doors, there are many things come with it. So we're talking about, let's talk about electricity in general. So when you talk about 12 volt now, we are talking about motion sensor, we're talking about smart houses, application, computers, mobile start, controlling these things.
Sure.
So you need to have many parts now in your client or your provider to get the best for your customers.
Well, it's becoming more and more simpler, you know, thank God. Alhamdulillah. So now it's become more simplified. Yes, we have emergency lighting, we have motion detectors, cameras for security, a whole gamut of things. We have dimming, you know, much more easier to control dimming remotely. You can control your house just from your phone if you like, you know. or you can walk in and have voice driven as well.
Yes.
You know, so there's a big gamut. So it's actually become a little less complicated than it was, although it seems more complicated. You know.
Now we are talking about smart devices. Now it starts even what the weather, it will be changed the brightness of it, right?
Yes, yes.
But when I talk about calculating for commercial way and resident way, so you choose commercial, it's more complicated. We need to mention that civil defense, they need special standards. So how we can get them accepted our product?
Well, again, comes in with a design brief. We sit. Actually, I'm very much a devotee of getting people together. So when we're involved in a larger project, for say a civil defence, for DEWA, for example, we've done work for DEWA, I suggest to the lead consultants to have the client, to have you, the consultant, to have us, the lighting people, to have the interior designer, the interior furniture people, anybody who's involved in what the outcome of the building will be at the end of the day. And we all sit together and talk to the client directly, so the client knows exactly what's going on. So we listen to him. Everybody hears the same story.
Right.
You know, not getting a story that's passed on from the client to the consultant to one of the engineers. You know, it's the same. The client is always in touch with what we're doing. I think that's the ideal way to educate the client and keep him aware of where his money's going. He's very concerned where his money's going, right? DEWA is very concerned. I met the chairman of DEWA at an exhibition 2 weeks ago, you know, and we had a quick chat. His Excellency was a very busy guy, of course, but we had a quick chat, and I mentioned, you know, we'd done some work for them. So, you know, it's very important to have the client involved from the very beginning, and we do that if we can't get this cohesion. As I said, we try and work with the client from the very beginning, do a brief against his specification, and then, you know, show it to him, and then fine-tune it if we have to.
How you find the Cree and choose them?
How I find Cree, okay. Cree, well, you know, they kind of found us, because Cree was a manufacturer of LED semiconductors, one of the pioneers in semiconductors for the lighting industry. Mm-hmm. So when my company, when Ruud Lighting in America, which was the base of what we started here, that was founded in 1982. So when Al Ruud, who was the founder and a great engineer, but an even better business guy, when he said in 2005, we must start R&D with semiconductors, with LED, he chose Cree, which is in the southern states. Ruud was based in Racine in Wisconsin, and Cree had their operation in North Carolina, Raleigh-Durham. They're in a technology triangle. So we had a lot of cohesion with them. They made chips, we made fittings. We wanted to learn how we could adapt the fittings or our own fittings, which it turned out we couldn't really. We had to develop new fittings. So, you know, we started working together in those early days. We used pretty much Cree chips exclusively, and we launched from R&D. We launched our first product range in 2007, and we launched here in the Middle East in 2009, 2010 to a bigger extent, working with a very big client, Abu Dhabi municipality, Baladia, and kind of went from there. But interestingly, Cree in August 2011 decided to purchase Ruud Lighting. So they ended up paying about $580 million for the company. Unfortunately, none of that money went to me.
So now we are talking about most complicated things when the renovation start hitting the door and people start calculate. So it's costly still. Now we have to contact with the factory to make for us the same or duplicate for what we have it, but LED for halogen. How you fix this problem?
Well, fortunately now it's pretty easy because there's the developments since LED was launched in lighting. has gone pretty dramatic, you know. So now you mentioned tungsten halogen. There's a lot of tungsten halogen MR16 lamps in residential developments. Now you can get an MR16 LED lamp, you know, and even a 12 volt, which was the way it was then. It was a transformer, 240 volts to 12 volts. But now you can get mains voltage MR16s LED or any other domestic product. So you can do away with a transformer, but you end up with a driver anyway, operating at whatever your mains voltage is in, as is here, 220, 240 volts. So it's very simple now to do, actually retrofitting, we call it. So with LED, it's fairly dramatic. You can get up to 80% saving in energy costs. So it's pretty dramatic.
Is there any done project with the smart houses, fully smart?
Yes, there's quite a lot of that being done now. We have not gotten to the stage of doing residential too much now. We've done a lot of commercial stuff going forward. That's power over Ethernet and internet. DEWA are a pioneer in that area, for example, where they're doing a new building that is totally controlled from that basis with sensors, with photo cells, with sensors the light in your room, you know, and dims the fixtures to the level that you need. And when the light outside is dark then it goes to full brightness, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of adopters of it here in the Emirates. The Baladiers, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, all are looking at this aspect now.
Hologram under lighting technologies? Hologram under lighting technology?
Hologram. You're starting to hit like on artificial intelligence, AI. There's a degree of that and developments in that area. We, for example, do use robots in some processes of pick and play for making printed circuit boards that are used inside the fixtures. Will it go further than that? Probably. That's a bit beyond my call. I think I'll be retired by that stage.
UAE was enough for you, or you expand for all other countries?
Well, we do business right throughout the Middle East, the MENA region, even in India. We've supplied material, Africa, you know, so it is pretty broad. I have done some work in Japan on behalf of Cree because I happen to be the closest guy, you know. So we've done some stuff with Mazda in Japan for car headlights and something simple you might think, but a sauce to harden the glue that sticks the rear vision mirror on the window of the car, you know, and now all sorts of other things as well, dashboards, tail lights.
Let's talk about time management. So how you organize your time between your business life and your personal life?
Oh, you need to talk to my wife about that. She will not be very happy. I'm a pretty early riser. I usually rise at 5 o'clock in the morning. I try and get to the gym. I do a bit of work to try and keep myself fit and healthy. That's the main part. So I'm usually one of the first people in the office, if not the first. And I usually am working till about 20:00 at night, 8 o'clock, something like that. So it's a full schedule. And my wife is very hard on me, saying that I should be spending more time with the family and my children. I have five children, and most of them are grown up now, so the problem has changed a little bit. Actually, right now, my family is not with me in the Emirates. Now my youngest son is in senior high school, and that is in Australia, in Brisbane. So I'm spending a little bit more time going backwards and forwards now.
In the behind, who built your character?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. Very difficult question. I have to say my father primarily. He was a hard-working farmer to begin with. My father was born in Scotland, and he immigrated to Australia in 1948. So it was a new life for him for various reasons, but he didn't go back into farming. He started working for the railways, very strangely enough. So, but he was always a hard-working guy, and one of these guys who did rise early in the morning, and well, going to bed early too. But yeah, so I'd say my father was the majority, and then I was lucky enough to have other people who helped me through my education and my business career. I have to mention a gentleman, excuse me, called Keith Price, who was kind of a mentor to me when I joined the Ruud Cree. It was branded quite a little differently then, but Keith is an English gentleman. He's the one who recruited me to come into the business, and he was is one of the true gentlemen that I've ever met, and particularly in business, very, very dedicated, very honest, very straight, and a wonderful, wonderful man.
When we talk about this country, we talk about the target for many people who are living out of this country, coming here to find their opportunity as an investor, or even if they are employee looking for a job. They need an advice from people who have fair enough experience, same like you. So what you will advise them?
Well, I advise them to really, consider very, very much so coming to the UAE, because the UAE has been very good to me personally. I can talk from first-hand experience, coming here, investing a little money only, but getting assistance from every level of government. Anybody I approached, Chamber of Commerce, Baladia, you name it, So everybody was most welcoming, and every Emirati person that I ever met has helped me in one way or another, and it was very eye-opening to I had a problem with a car driving down Sheikh Zayed Road many years ago in the 80s. It was not 5-6 lane highway; it was a 2-lane highway, and my car broke down, and many local people, Emirati gentlemen, stopped and asked me, if I could need any assistance, how can I help, blah, blah, blah. And I was in the desert and I got stuck. And this gentleman came along in his 4-wheel drive, as most locals know the desert very well here. And he said, "Oh, you have to let your tyres down," and I said, "Okay, I'll do that." So he helped me out to get out and stuff, and then he pulled out an air pump for the tyres, and pumped it up, and I said, "Wow, this is a great thing, it's a very, very nice one." He said, "Okay, here, you have it." I said, No, thank you. No. He said,
Make you shy.
Yes, exactly. That's just the way they are, right? I mean, that's the way the local people are. Very, very, very kind and very neighbourly, we would say.
This is the vision which built UAE, His Highness Sheikh Zayed, the one who starting to respect the humanity, we can say. So everyone here will come in this country in the peace and safe country, starting from His Highness Sheikh Zayed and Son of Zayed, make it number 1 in the world, we can say it now. What we have to say for you leaders and government for all this opportunity?
Well, you have to be very grateful starting from Sheikh Zayed, and I mean, that culture is bred through every level of government, through all the Emirates, more so particularly being led by Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and we can be very thankful that they're very forward-thinking, have been very forward-thinking. And it's quite amazing if you look at where they came from. I mean, dealing with camels, and then building a society, building an infrastructure that, as you say, one of the best in the world in all areas, from business, from medical, government, the way it's structured, all aspects, you know. So we're very lucky. Anybody who has an opportunity to come here, as I had, we are very, very grateful and very thankful that it is what it is. The way that the rulers, Sheikh Zayed as a prime example of the number one.
Vic, or I don't know why you asked me to not call you Mr. Vic. Thank you so much to be one of our guests today, and welcome again in Emirati.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to meet you and talk with you, and have a great, wonderful day.
دفوتها لها غير وترحبهم ترحب